8:30, okay. All righty. Mr. Labange, I want to thank you for being here.
Got you, Mr. President.
We have a quorum. Let's go with item number 1.
Item number 1 is a communication from the city clerk relative to proposed changes to the LA City Election Code.
Okay, good to see you again.
You too, thank you. I'm Jacob Wexler with the Elections Division of the City Clerk's Office.
Yeah, you're the new guy, kind
I'm the new guy.
Yeah.
Take it easy. The item 1 is our report recommending changes to the city's election code. The changes are minor for the most part, and they serve a number of purposes, including to update our code so we are complying with the state laws. We're making technical clarifications and revisions just to sort of make sure that the code is as written as clearly as it could be. There are changes that are providing us with efficiencies, including cost savings without major service impacts, and sort of common sense procedural changes. And finally, there's also changes that will allow us to match our current practices, which we think are the best practices that we could be doing. Our recommendation is that the council request or instruct the city attorney to draft an ordinance based on the changes that we're proposing. And in order to have these code changes in effect before our work begins on the 2013 elections, we need to have them adopted by the council in early March, which will give us the time for the required posting periods. So we
need to move forward with some haste.
We would appreciate that very much.
Okay.
I'm happy to go through any specific changes that you have questions about or answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Labange?
Just want to know, has it been reviewed? Do you have anybody outside who may contest, how we do our elections? Or any, the city attorney's office has reviewed this?
Yeah, absolutely. We work
Totally, yeah. And any of the groups that watchdog agencies for elections, have they reviewed it at all?
Certainly we work closely with them. We have periodic meetings with outside organizations. I'm not sure that we have not sat.
I would say if you think and discuss it with the city clerk, if you want to forward it to them and just say this is coming to council, if you have any comments, the city clerks will be welcome. Just do that. But it does seem like small steps to be more efficient and inclusive at the same time. But I just want to ask that question. Thank you.
We'll do that.
All right. Well, since I have no questions, I guess we would just, without objection, approve this item. Mr. City Attorney, did you want to weigh in at all? Or?
No, I think it's full speed ahead.
Okay. Next, thank you. Thank you very much. See, we were gentle with you on your first appearance.
I appreciate that.
But we'll get you next time. Item 2.
Item 2 is consideration of motion Perry Englander on ex parte communication guidelines for the LA City Redistricting Commission.
Okay. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning, council members. David Tristan with the City Ethics Commission.
Mike Altschul, also City Ethics Commission.
Mike is our new policy director, and so
wait now. I've seen you for a while. You're not that new.
2 months. Yeah. I think in
Really?
city longevity, that's,
Okay.
yeah, it's still new. Yeah.
All right. Go on, Tristan.
So, good morning, good morning, council members. So we were here to report on where we are with the ex parte communications. Our commissioners last year approved some initial recommendations. We are in the process of bringing back to them final language and final recommendations. The task of finalizing that has been held up mainly by the current time that we're spending on the campaign finance provisions that we have to bring forward before our commission and ultimately before council with regard to changes to the entire campaign finance laws. So at this point, that's the priority given the 2013 election and the implications that those changes will have on that.
I agree.
And so we're looking at probably bringing back some recommendations once that entire package is complete.
Okay, I agree with that, but we're being joined now by Mr. Weezar, so we have a full complement of members here, Mr. Labange.
Very good.
Good morning, Mr. Weezar. do you think that you'll make some recommendations to your commissions to put in place these ex parte?
Yes, in fact, our commission has approved some recommendations in theory right now, and so the plan will be back to be more specific and provide actual language for them.
Okay. Can you guys hang around for like a couple minutes?
Sure.
All right. I'd like to get we have a couple of our commissioners on the redistricting commission that are here, and maybe the executive director. If you guys could come up and I really appreciate, good morning, and I really appreciate you guys coming. Rumor has it you've been pretty busy these last several days, and for you to, come here this early in the morning, I just want you to know that I truly appreciate
We
it.
clocked out 11 p.m. last night.
11 p.m.
Well, Jackie did.
Okay.
I clocked out a little earlier.
What areas do? Well, in fact, if I could just have you introduce yourself.
Rob Cadota, appointed by Bill Rosen.
Oh, you're Bill's guy. He spoke. He spoke highly of me. I mean, to me about you. So you worked 8.
Yep, I hosted the hearing that happened in your.
Okay, so you had 8, 10. What other districts? 8 and 10.
That we're mapping currently?
Yes.
We're looking at 4, 8, 9,
And 11.
8, 11, 10. 4.
You don't have 9.
Okay. No.
Yes.
Okay. And which area did you have?
We call the South and the East. We have 1, 9, 13, 14, and 15.
Okay, and that's Ms. Jackie DuPont Walker. Okay, let me. I just have a couple of quick questions. I'm from the school where if it's not broke, don't fix it. So where it relates to this commission that occurs once every 10 years, do you feel that the system is broken? Or just let me say, I don't know about you, Mr. Labange, or you, Mr. Weezar, but I have had 2 conversations with my commissioner on the commission. I called him to see if he wanted to serve. That's one conversation. And then we had a outreach meeting in our district at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, and I shook his hand and he introduced me. So I've spoken to him twice. I don't think personally that this is a problem, but I wanted to get, do you guys feel that your appointing authorities or whatever have been putting a lot of pressure on you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, I would say, looking 10 years ago and looking at this year, it has not been a problem. What I've seen is that our commissioners have sought to be knowledgeable of the districts, to listen to the people who have come to present testimony, to take time to read the COI documents that have come in, and to push staff to give us the email communication. So we have not felt it. And I think we've been pretty much in communication with our fellow commissioners.
Well,
I think we've also really spent a lot of time doing outreach to make sure that the public has lots of opportunity to talk with us, and bent over backwards to make sure that we were as out in the public as possible. And it has been a topic of care and consideration for the commission from the start about being open, transparent, public in our operations.
If anything, we've outreached to council staff to help us with outreach and additional information. Sure. It's just been the reverse.
Okay. Now, Mr. Westall, I want to say that I may have had 3 conversations with Mr. Westall, maybe 4. One was about fantasy football, because we have a league.
Who's winning?
And
I didn't win.
I didn't even make the playoffs, okay? So, did you make the playoffs?
I did make the playoffs, but I came in 6th place.
Okay. We talked about the dismantling of the CRA, and I requested that he attend a meeting in the mayor's office that dealt with the CRA. So to my other members, well, anyway, so no, I don't want to put you on the spot. Members, any questions?
No, the only thing I would know is I've been stopped in the community by neighborhood people, sometimes neighborhood activists, and they're very focused on neighborhood council boundaries, which are difficult because some neighborhood council boundaries are of 20,000 people, and the next one's of 130,000 people, and another, or some wide range. And I just listen to them and I say, let the commission do their work on that aspect there. And as we all appointed somebody, the person that I appointed, I talked to and told them what I hope my vision would be, and then I said, go to work. And you have been working a lot, especially the late hours that it has been. So that's how I see it. I just don't know how we're going to get over it, because the last time there were no strong boundaries of 93, I believe it is, neighborhood councils. So that is an argument, but that's a whole different argument. And eventually it comes to the city council. We'll try to solve it, but we've got to make sure we follow the Voting Rights Act, which is the guiding principle for all of this.
And I've known your appointee, Tom, for over 20 years.
Right.
And I haven't spoken to him in about 8 months.
Right.
Okay. Mr. Weezer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And, what I wanted to first figure out from the maker of the motion is, was it supposed to address the issue of ex parte communication between the appointed commissioner and that council member, or the council member and any other member of the commission? Because I've always assumed there would be some communication between the council member and his or her appointee, because after all, that appointee may or may not be familiar with the district, and there's a reason why that appointment was made. It's someone who's familiar with the district, and you talked to them about some of the projects you've been working on in the district. Sometimes we have different meanings of what is a neighborhood, what is a community, and those communications, I would assume, would go on to have the best result possible for everyone at the end of the day. So I'm not sure if the intent was to address ex parte communication between the council member and their appointee or anyone else on the commission. I assumed that the council member would be talking to their appointed commissioner.
Mr.
Which
West.
I just want to say, too, just as being around a couple of times here, both as a staffer, it's all right to talk to everybody, I think in that sense there. But I think the one challenge we have now from this new process is just to try to let a commission do their work and then come to us. But that's, at some time, we can talk to everybody.
Right. I don't know the intent of the motion. I wouldn't answer that, but I think that the model that was set for us with the state, unfortunately, is rolling over. And with the state, as you know, they could not speak to the elected member.
They could not speak at all to the elected member.
No communication. And so that was a problem. But that was a decision-making commission.
Yeah.
We're an advisory commission.
And also, and here we are dealing with local issues. State legislatures deal with larger policy issues. Yes, they work on behalf of their district to bring projects, et cetera, to the district. But here it's day-to-day stuff that are a little different from state issues.
Mr. Westall.
Yes, Andrew Westall, Executive Director for the City Council Redistricting Commission. It's hard to know the intent of the motion. As you read the motion, it reads, in essence, that the commissioners, any discussion that they had with redistricting with any member of the public, so in essence, anyone who wasn't working for the commission like myself or city staff like Mr. Trivedi in the back from the city attorney's office, they would have to disclose those communications. And so it seems, at least the way that the motion is written, that any communication that a commissioner had with a member of the public would be covered under these ex parte communications. At least that's the way that I understand it, but you'd have to ask the maker of the motion.
Can I get another seat? Can we pull another seat over here? If I could ask Heather to come forward. Patrice, you don't have to give up your chair. Oh, you're gonna give your chair to Dion? Of all people?
Thank you.
Who came in late, and now I'm diming on him? Yeah.
For the record.
Yeah.
Patrice does have a seat now, for the record.
Okay. And he was only a 45 seconds late. Members, again, I don't think the system is broken. I have the highest respect for the executive director. I have the highest respect for the majority of the commissioners. Given that said, what I would recommend, if Heather, you would be up to it, I would like to kind of kick this to your shop and have it incorporated with the other issues that you're dealing with, and when you bring it back in the spring or what have you, then at least I could see what kind of suggestions or recommendations that you make, and then we'll decide from that point on what we should do. Some of us will be here when there's the next redistricting. Some of us will not. And I hate to try to I would not want to handcuff elected officials before they get elected. But I think the best way to move forward with this is to see if it's acceptable to you. Because I know you've only got a million things to do, but if you didn't want to do it, then I would try to come up with another way. If we were in the legislature, I'll be honest, I'd just kill this. Okay, it would be dead.
Well, we have had discussions, as you know, with the commissioners about ex parte communications in general. So this is something that we did plan to report on anyway. So we can move forward with this, and we'd be happy to talk with the folks at the Redistricting Commission. The conversations at our commission's level did not focus on one particular body. It was just ex parte communications in general. And just so that you have an idea of where those conversations were moving at the time, the thought was that ex parte communications really should only be banned if we're talking about an adjudicatory setting where the commissioners or the members of the board are making a decision that affects the rights of the individual who's communicating with them. In other cases, the thought was we don't want to squelch communication with our elected officials, but some disclosure might be appropriate.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Members, any other questions or concerns?
Just a technical question. When you get on a plane in New York, you expect to land in Los Angeles, but halfway between it, you get misdirected. We're in a process. We're in a flight now. How do you handle that without, having to turn around and go back to New York and take a train?
Wait, I missed that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand.
As it relates to the district.
That was too technical for me.
We're all in the air.
You're in the air. You're in the air. They're in the air right now. You're very important. This motion's very important to look at it. How do you deal with it in process?
Well, I am not sure of the answer to that. We don't have anything in the ethics laws that regulates ex parte communications at this point. So
So there's no law, but so this is probably the train has left the station, let me say that.
Unless the Redistricting Commission wants to make its own policy for its internal operations. There are some agencies in the city, even though
from that moment forth, though.
Correct.
That's all.
Correct.
That's all I'm
That's
saying.
correct.
The train's
Yeah.
left the station.
Yeah.
Mr. Weezer?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I would agree with you. Right, the commission's work has started. They're very busy. We heard from one commissioner that was here till 11 o'clock last night. And I think it would make sense if we could address this and also address it in a way where we are thoughtful about it so that it complies with First Amendment rights. How does this fit in the context of other ethics rules so that we're not just doing a knee-jerk reaction to a problem which we don't even know what the problem is yet or the intent of the motion. So we should take our time and do something that's thoughtful and not rush into this while the commission has already started their important work and they're busy as it is to now throw something else at them to think about and do and adopt in the middle of their important work.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer. And just as an aside, when do you guys think you're going to be finished? What's your timeline?
By March 1.
Oh, okay.
How many days is that?
It's 41 days.
Oh, yeah. And how many hours and minutes? Okay, then without objection, why don't we continue this item? We'll kick it over to ethics, and ethics you report back when, you report back on the other issues that you're dealing with. Tristan, does that make sense to you? Makes sense to me. All right. So without objection, that'll be the order. Now, I'd like to, for the record, thank you guys, and hang around. Maybe I want to talk to you. with witnesses, though. I want to afford Mr. Weezer the opportunity to vote on item 1. Do I have to reconsider the entire item, Mr. City Attorney, or can he just say he's supportive of it and that be added to the record?
You should reconsider that.
Okay. Any objection to reconsidering item 1? Hearing and seeing none. Item 1 is now before us. And without objection, then item 1 will be deemed approved with a unanimous vote. Are there any more items before this commission? Before this committee?
No other items.
Then this committee's adjourned. Thank everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Get Jackie.